G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some cool sailors, but unfortunately I have to share it with my two idiot mates. So first up joining me is Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
No, Brett. Wonder where he's gone. I'll bring in the other bloke and see if we can find out.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
I hope he does realise the fact he's not here, we can just rip the piss out of him completely. But I kind of feel a bit bad because I did that all last week.
Oh, yeah, you nailed him last week. I think that's why he's not here.
I probably got a bit loose.
That was one of the funniest comments.
And I was really looking forward to backing it up this week. So
exciting.
Given he's not here, I will continue to rip the piss out of him as much as possible.
Well, he's off playing Pokemon or something, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he's got all his 38 screens set up on the front of his bicycle, just riding around Sydney town. No, actually, so he's, hammering his cock against a brick wall in the Etchells in Sydney Harbour. But it must be, what's it called? The Goblet.
Milson Silver Goblets.
Yep, they're competing in.
I thought that was a Pokemon character.
It sounds like it.
It does.
Yeah. But, yep. This is the last. So we're recording on Friday night.
Yep.
This is their last night.
Yeah.
I think he's sitting in 5th or 7th.
He was 7th going in, and the races happened. I've got the point score in front of me. So
they've ended up 39th.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, they didn't have a glamour last race. They got their drop tonight. So they've ended up 6th overall, though, because a few other people had some bad ones as well. So ended up 6th. Colin Beashall won. So an old bloke with a moustache won, followed by John Bertrand, so an old bloke with a moustache. And then Pete Merrington and Steve Jarvin, I think. So,
yeah. And just while we're on that, just a quick shout out. Last week, mentioning the winners of the SA state titles was Deuce and Snowdy, but I forgot to mention Sam, so quick shout out to
Big Sam Reid.
Yep.
He's a fairly large bloke. He could probably smash you into the ground fairly quickly.
Yep. One of those hold fucking just knock me on the scone. You're out, boy.
That's it. Yeah.
So my mistake, Sam, but there you go, pal.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, we've got a good one tonight. I'm actually quite fired up because, in our little travels, Bice, you and I've got to meet some really cool people. And one of the blokes that really has stuck in my mind over those years is our guest tonight. He really impresses me. He's 3-time Olympic sailor in the 470 class. Got a silver in the Worlds in Cascade in 2007 with some nung-nongs by the name of Nathan Pagey. Beat him, a couple of Aussies, beat him into silver. Sails on a ton of boats on moths a bit now and then pro sailing on a bunch of things like TPs, J70s, the Swan 45s, anything. And he also founded and created this really cool business. And we tried really hard to work with him as part of the boatyard and our work on the ocean race. We didn't quite get there before everything changed. He created a business called Sailmon, and they make displays, processors, and this really cool little device called Sailmon Max. So our special guest is Kalle Coster from the Netherlands. Welcome to Bar Karate, bud.
Oh, hi, Jordan. How are you going?
Hey, Kalle, before you start, wooden shoes, wooden head, wouldn't fucking listen. Have you ever heard that before?
A couple of times.
Yeah, I know. We've met each other a few times.
Especially, when I was a bit younger, I heard it a lot, and then I just decided to become a navigator, so everybody had to listen to me.
Yeah. Good move. Hey, Kalle, no, in all seriousness, since the day Jordan and I did meet you and just kind of not necessarily follow you on your journey because your journey was created a long time before that, but see to what you've created with Sailmon has been pretty phenomenal, mate. So well done, congratulations. And we like
Thanks.
seeing what we see.
Well, the journey just got started, so it's still a long way to go.
Actually, before we go, I always got to put this disclaimer in. We are not getting paid. for all these nice words. So we genuinely like the product. We genuinely like the bloke, and we're not getting paid for this. So you can take it for that. Okay. So this is not a paid ad. All right. So if we talk about Sailmon, it's just from genuine interest. All right. All right. So we met. The first time we met was actually not quite Cascais, but just only a few kilometres.
Pretty close. Lisbon, I think.
Yeah,
in the boatyard.
Correct.
That's it. Yeah, in our boatyard. So that's a happy hunting ground for you, sailing out of there, mate.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool place to sail. I remember also getting back there in the TP52s, and it was pretty exciting to race out on the outer course. We used to call it Course 5, and the ride would always pay. So it was it was good fun. And even in the TP52s, I think the first day we ran it, the top mark twice in first position, but then everybody else catched on. So.
Oh dear. All right, so tell us your journey into the sport of sailing, because knowing your history, you didn't get a choice, really, did you?
No, so my dad went to the Olympics in 76 and 80 in Solings. And as a kid, I know nothing else than being on a boat. I was thrown in the front of the boat in a little bathtub, and would sail to England and France. So the seasickness got banged out of me pretty quick. And then I didn't really like competitive sailing until I was 10. But I had to watch my brother and sister every weekend. So and then one weekend I just said, "Oh, I need to go racing as well." And then my dad got me a boat, and I started racing, and it went pretty quick from there. I went to the Europeans in the Optimist, so made the selection within a year, and just kept going. Never really made it to the Worlds, just did 4 Europeans. And after the Optimist, I got pretty big, pretty quick. Sailed for 20 for a bit, but yeah, I had big goals. My crew didn't have the same goals. My brother had big goals. His crew didn't have the same goals. So we kind of went like, okay, we want to go to the Olympics. Let's do it together. So when we were 16, when I was 16 and he was 21, we started sailing together, and we did well pretty quickly in 470s. And the Dutch Federation even thought we had a shot at making the Sydney Olympics. So they let us fly over to Sydney for a summer in Sydney. I think we were there 3-4 months. But I was 16. I was still in high school, and I brought all my books. No coach, no parents.
Wow!
So it was a lot of fun with my brother, and it was growing up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
mate. I'll tell you what. I was 22 in Sydney in the year 2000, and I grew up pretty quickly as well. Ever heard of the Hellfire Club?
Well, this was one of the things. I was 16 and I was not allowed in any of the bars. So
apart from the orange one.
Exactly. But my brother had this international driving license where we changed the picture out from him to me. And that kind of got me into all the bars. And even on a ride from Melbourne to back to Sydney, we got pulled over by the cops, and I was driving. I didn't have a driving license. and a place called, I don't know, Wangy or some strange name, and it's like one house and cops. So, and I asked my brother, what should I do? He goes like, stop maybe. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I stopped the car. I had 2 470s behind us. And shit, now we're royally fucked. And the only thing I had to do is do an alcohol test.
Right.
I could drive on.
Nice. Easy.
Oh, glad you hadn't heard of a rotor back then.
Yeah. Dear. Actually,
so that was great fun there. Training with Paul Forster and Bob Merrick, who ended up winning the silver medal. And a couple of years on, Paul Forster and Kevin Burnham, who just deceased, a great mate. They were our training partners for 2004, and they really helped us get to the next level. And we finished 6th in Athens, which was awesome. And then we just kept going, improved until our journey in the 470 sort of ended in 2012 with some great results and medals at all regattas except for the Olympics, where we got 4th.
Yeah, that's right, 4th, and then You got a 12th in 2012. It's a pretty intense class. Do you look at it nowadays just sort of going, wow, how intense it is? Or, it's always been that way, I guess?
Well, it's funny because now you've taken a bit of a helicopter view from the class, and you really see that it's going in circles. Mm. It's been going in circles for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And although I think it's a cool class, it's kind of had its time. I think we should move on to more modern classes in Olympic sailing. And I even wrote a piece about it in 2007. I
love it.
So actually, Kalle, and the listeners can't see this, but in the background we've got a shot, black and white shot, something doing 20 knots, and what is that?
Well, I'm actually crashing there. It's me on my moth sailing in on my home lake, and just crashing. And what you see is our Sailmon Max display, and it's kind of one of the things that I always missed in the sailing, especially in dinghies, was electronics. Because everything is always by heel and feel, you come ashore and you start lying to each other. Yeah, I was really quick. Yeah, no, I was really quick. I thought I was quicker. And there's no real measurability of what you've done on the water. Everybody's just guessing.
So, and just quickly though, before we do start guessing, what was your article about in 2007?
Yeah. So
it was literally called. It was my thesis for my studies, and it was called "The Future of Sailing."
Oh, okay, I love it. Now we want to talk.
Buckle up, listeners. Sit down. Just break out the notepad. Here we go. Kick it off, Kalle. So, once upon a time.
Once upon a time. It was. I think YouTube just got started. We didn't call it YouTube. We called it narrowcasting. It was clear that sailing was never going to be end up really on TV. It all needed to happen through the internet and social media. But in order to make it interesting, it also needed to modernize a little bit, because watching a race sometimes is boring. It looks like it's like letting grass grow. If you have a couple of lasers at 5 knots doing a 1-hour race, is not that interesting. So to make it more interesting, the formats need to change, the speeds need to go up. And basically they've done that really well in the America's Cup and SailGP. Sailing's become much more interesting. But the Olympic sailing is still lagging behind a lot. And I think the 3 pinnacles of the sport really were the America's Cup, Volvo Ocean Race, and the Olympics. And the Olympics is, I think that the ISAF needs to look at sailing again and embrace all the modern technologies available. And they're not I call them a little bit the blue blazers. They want to keep sailing traditional, and it can't become a computer game, etc. But at the same time, we're losing a lot of the youth. So and the youth want to have data. They want to look at interesting things. They want to
go fast. Yeah,
and they want to compare with their friends. They want to have data to compare with their friends, not just the bar talk. The lying at the bar. They need more than that.
Well, easy, mate. Just by the way, if you don't know what bar karate is,
he knows.
This is actually talking shit at the bar with your mates.
Yeah, it's good to have some data to talk at the bar, but never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah,
so maybe we need to create the bar karate special version of your instrument, mate.
The virtual bar karate.
So you can lie a little bit. Yeah.
So obviously, if we go back to the Olympic stuff, though, one of the issues becomes for world sailing is that the cost of, if you go the high tech, then the boats become prohibitively expensive comparative to a laser, and a laser allows poor nations into the events, is what they'd argue. So it provides a greater, fairer representation.
I think that's a bullshit argument, to be honest, because the total cost of an Olympic campaign is not in the boat. It's in the people, it's in the coaching, it's in the traveling, it's in the hotels, shipping, whatever. It's not in the cost of the boat. Okay, if you have an offshore few €100,000 boat, that makes a dent in the budget. But whether the boat costs 10,000 or 30,000, I don't think it really matters.
So what about close racing? So one of the things that slower boats offer is more close tactical racing. How do you answer that element in it?
Well, I think in order to make sailing more watchable and more interesting, you need more changes. And if you look at the Cup right now, it's interesting, but it's only 2 boats.
Yep.
If you would have 20 of those boats on the same race course, it would be chaos and spectacle.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at, for example, moth sailing, it's spectacular to watch, and yes, the distances are bigger, but they are also like the 200 meters is the same as 20 meters.
Yeah. Well, so the last Moth Worlds in Fremantle, one of the jokes we made was that they just replayed the video over and over again of one race because Tom Slingsby he started off the pin, accelerated away from everyone, tacked onto port, sailed up to the top mark, came back and was 200 metres in front of everyone, and every day was the same sort of thing. So, look, all I care about, and I'm just challenging you. I'm not criticising you. I just want to challenge to see how well thought out your argument is. That's all. But all I think we care about on Barkarati is getting more people into sailing. So whatever works, we're happy with. I think is probably fair, as long as people
are
having.
The same.
Yeah.
In the end, I love sailing. I don't care how we get more people in the sport, but I think we should get more people in the sport.
Yeah.
And my way is technology. Yeah. Because it gives more insight. Like even if you watched the Moth Worlds last year, and Jody did a great job with the drone and the footage you had available, but there was no data there. There was no, Slingsby did it in 20,000 meters and Kyle sailed 25,000 meters. That's why he lost the race. There's no real sense of why people lose the race or win the race. Well, and that makes it a bit.
I remember, Kalle, when we actually first met, which was just after the start in the 17-18 race in Lisbon, when you came down and you were explaining to me not only your electronic side of things but the digital and the data and all that sort of stuff, but how you're creating this virtual yacht club, how you were creating this and essentially Strava for yachties.
Yeah, and that's been a journey on its own, to be honest.
Yeah, no, and that there's 2 separate things there. Right? One's, of course, the digital side, and 2 is the virtual side plus racing against your mates. And I do remember you telling me, well, you go sailing your Moth one day in Lisbon and your mate sailing in Sydney, and you can compare notes on Strava.
Exactly.
Well, and sorry to use a common term, and maybe this is what the goal is what you have. Is that still building? Is it still coming? Is this like the future? This is what the youth are going to see as the new thing?
100%. That's I started Sailmon with that in mind, and it took a couple of years to get there, but I think we're getting closer and closer. We now actually have a device that's accessible for everyone, because our other devices were way too expensive for most sailors.
Yep.
We then started to try out with a free app, but never really had a solution after that. So people would love to try the app, but then they didn't really get a device to sail with it afterwards. And our app also been a journey on how to get it to a quality that people would expect. Because users these days with their mobile phones and Facebook and the companies where actually I think hundreds of people are working on a single app expect the same usability from an app, even from a relative small company as us. So you need to get it to that level in order for it to be a success. So now we've actually found really talented UX designer who's done some great apps and worked in Silicon Valley for big companies, etc. And he's helping us to bring sailing to the next level, but also in a user experience way. Because my background, of course, is professional sailing, and that sometimes gives the wrong data to the sailors, because people have heard about VMG and VMC, but they don't really have an idea
knows. Yeah.
what the difference is.
Yeah.
So we need to really put it more in layman's terms, so everybody will become a better sailor and can relate to their data. And we don't need to make polars for every 2 knots of wind speed. We can make it much simpler than that. And so that's what we're working on right now, and that's really exciting.
Even using the word polars, to the layman, it means nothing. I must have actually last night. I'm off on my way to the Thursday night basketball game, and I'm on the phone to a mate of mine, and we're talking about a bro, the blast reacher. And I get off the phone, and my mate's like, yeah, I think the bro has to be high in the spigot down to the low sheeting point with the bro off the tough luff type thing. Like, there's all this language, which is only language we understand, which 98% of, well, even more, don't understand. So. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Trying to put it into this layman, and it's a bit, layman's not the right word, but layman's terms to understand how it works.
I don't know the right word in English, but I'm lucky that I have people around me in the company here that keep me real. They keep me real on technology. Yeah. They keep me real on what should be in our.
Stop you geeking out.
Exactly. Because I always want to put in more, and actually Max has taught me and also the company that how we should really approach products for a bigger market. And as soon as we get a bigger market, we can invest more money in our platform. And if our platform takes off, it's like a chicken and an egg thing, So it's and Max has been going great last year, even through the pandemic. So that's exciting. We're ramping up production. We've sold over 500 units in just 6 months from nothing. So it's awesome.
Yeah, we threw Max on the Sharpie a few months back just to have a look at it, and then had a look at the data afterwards. And the minute you open it up, and like people are they're glued to it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been cool also to hear people being really enthusiastic about it, And even for myself, I love to sail with it, and that was the goal as well. I wanted the device that I've missed all those years, and Max is that device. But there's so much more cool stuff that we're working on that it will become better and better. We'll get a master slave mode. We can provide everybody with target speed, so they have a guide on how to repeat what they've done before, really helping people sailing and having fun afterwards. That's the main goal.
So for the listeners who don't know what the Sailmon Max is, it's a small device that you would put, you'd have it on a moth, or you'd have it on a dinghy. It's a standalone box that provides, you can ping your start line, you get your speed, you get your GPS positioning. You got all that data that uploads, and you can go through and do an analysis afterwards. And you can switch the GPS off for those classes that don't allow you to race with GPS, and the actual app shows that when it's switched off, so you can prove that if anybody has any issues with that. So it's quite a clever little device. Gets you VMGs as well, I think, because that's, to me, when you first explained it to me, I was thinking if you're ever just out training by yourself, you can you start tracking VMG or start tracking some of this data. So when you're in conditions, you've got a training device. It's a training partner there, so you can actually develop your skills even if you're just by yourself.
It's interesting what you said about turning the compass off. A lot of people told me, you should make a version with just the compass in and no GPS. And we said no, because it goes against our philosophy. We want to have the discussion with the classes. We want the classes to accept a GPS, because what not everybody realizes is that most boats already carry a GPS in their watches, on their phones. So it really is a bullshit argument.
Yeah,
it's true.
And speaking of which, so who have you linked up with for watch compatibility?
Watch compatibility?
Yeah.
With your
we haven't yet.
I thought you. Yeah, I know where Bice is going. Well, actually, before you're talking Garmin, I assume.
No, I'm just saying, like, of course, you've got this fantastic product, and now for everyone to have a wearable on the rail, let's meld as 24.
Yeah.
You've got Max on board, and everyone's hanging their ass out over the side for a wearable. What do you got? Or you got something in the pipeline? You're dealing with someone?
We've got something in the pipeline, but it's more Maxes.
More Maxes.
And we were talking about watches, but we just see that people have trouble using the watch as well. You know, we've for our bigger systems, we integrate with watches for big boats and super yachts, but it's. In the end, people just want a dedicated device for their data. That's what we've seen so far. And we really like to be directed by our customers as well. Yeah. So if we get a request, if we get it once, we'll go like, okay, we'll put it on the list. But if we get it 10 times, we'll think seriously about building it.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to agree, actually, with that. When you sail on boats with data and stuff, you don't necessarily look at, you can, for example, with the Garmin, you can log what you're doing, but no one ever looks at it. You're always looking at your screens. Yeah. And when you're in a dinghy, you don't have time
exactly
to look at your watch. You literally do not have time to do it.
The first versions of Max had a lot more data fields. And I was sailing on my Moth. I think I can't even deal with this. So let alone anybody else. So we really started to think, what do you need on a dinghy? And it's not much. And also the discussion about data is data doesn't necessarily make you a better sailing per se. You still need to go out sailing and look around and have the feeling of the boat. Data is a reference to make you a better sailor. Yeah. It helps you to reference how you're doing. And people think that a computer will just make you a Tom Slingsby. That's complete bullshit.
Well, first of all, it won't give you red hair.
Not red mist either.
Well,
sorry, Tom.
Second of all, it won't make you as angry.
You idiots. Right, there's an obvious question, though, mate, that we haven't asked and is really critical because you're basically an Olympic sailor, right? You spend all your time focused on becoming an Olympic sailor. You spend, 12 years doing that. And then how do you suddenly start making all these instruments? Like, where does that skill set come from?
Well, as a kid, I would always take apart computers, and I was really into computers and into sailing. That's been the things I've always been interested in. And as my end of my Olympic career started to end, I was chatting with Cheese, Dirk de Ridder.
Yeah.
And he told me, I said, okay, I want to become a pro sailor. How do I get in the America's Cup or on like the big boats, doing Fastnet and that kind of racing? And he told me, well, you need to learn a second skill. And
so much wisdom.
I don't want to become a diver. I don't want to become a sail maker. I don't want to be repairing sails.
First aid.
Exactly. So I went like, okay, I like computers. I like the navigation stuff. And I became a bit I did the Middle Sea race as a navigator, and I did a couple of races. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with this stuff. But these instruments, there's things that can be improved, and that's how it really started. Just being a navigator, and I rolled into some projects, and I rolled into the displays on a boat, and then it all continued from there, and the whole electronics bit. I had good partners around me who had experience in making electronics, and I just teached it myself. There's so much information on the internet, and together with good people around you, you can build whatever you want.
It's insane. It's insane. For an old bloke like me, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Just the concept of...
Can you record that? Oh, sorry. No, it is recorded, and it's going to everyone.
The concept of just going out and building your own system is just... I love it, mate. I just love the whole concept. And your vision too. Like Bossy sort of alluded to it before. What he was talking about manifests in that if you've got somebody with your processor or with Max on their boat and it uploads to the cloud and you're in this sort of community, say as a coach, you might be able to see all the data from all the coach boats or yachts all around that bay, and you'll be able to get all the wind data and information if people allow that info to be uploaded. So, it just has this amazing sort of connectivity and information channel that you could build.
We're not far off from people being able to just the race committee organize a race, invite boats to compete, and everybody who competes automatically gets the start time and the line and the marks, etc. No more pinging. That's it's like the America's Cup, but everybody can use it.
Yeah,
and that's that because the America's Cup is super cool, but racing organizers are amateurs, they're volunteers, and it cannot cost $100 million.
Yeah.
So it needs to be done in a way that it's available for everyone, and then data becomes available of those races by everyone. And even by a simple drone flying over it, combined with that data, you can have a really good report of a race.
Kalle, one of the things I was instantly impressed with, whilst Sailmon, you're doing your own thing, you're also not necessarily collaborating, but you're utilising what already exists. So you have boats that run different processors or different displays, whether that's B&G, Garmin, whatever it is. And, I mean, there's a lot of – we mentioned some pretty big brands here, but you produce something.
That's exactly – we want to collaborate with everyone because we believe we're good in data, in doing something with the data. We don't want to make sensors to measure it. We want people to be part of our ecosystem, but we don't make you buy our displays. It's means to an end because we think we can present it to our customers in a good way. But you need a piece of our product line in order to be part of it. And some of the big players, Ray Marine, Garmin, they're really happy to work with us, and we're friends, so to say.
That was actually next question. How's that relationship?
It's really good with Garmin and with Ray Marine and with NKE. We're good friends. We've always tried to become good friends with B&G, but they don't want to become good friends with
next.
And it's actually quite cool because they've completely copied our super yacht display, and I take that as a compliment.
No, well, I think that is the only way to take it, right?
And I'm interested in how it actually looks because I haven't seen it in real life. I've seen pictures, and of course you can look at it like, oh, we've got a competitor, etc. But I think it also means that we've seen it right 7 years ago, and it's taken them 7 years to catch on. So that's pretty impressive.
5 iPads strapped to the mast with some electrical tape.
Well, actually, that's the cool thing. You can buy our processor and strap an iPad to the rig, or you can buy a really expensive display, because our app does exactly the same as our displays, except our displays are sunlight readable, waterproof, etc. But if you want, you can go to low tech and have the same sort of data for a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's hilarious. So one of the things I find interesting, mate, is that when we look at you, your dad, Dick, coached you guys through your Olympic career. You started with your brother Sven, and now if you go hang out in your business, Kim, your sister, is floating around. And I was just trying to work out, obviously, and Kim really does come across as the boss in many ways sometimes.
Yeah, she has some experience in that regard as well. Oh.
So, what's it's a real family affair for you as well. It's not just the tech and the sailing. There seems to be that family affair. It's pretty cool looking from the outside.
Yeah, it's I've worked together with my dad and my brother for 15 years, and now I'm already working together with my sister for 5 or something. Mm-hmm. And I love tech. I love sailing, but I'm not a great manager. I don't like finance. I don't like contracts. I hate all that stuff. And
I reckon you'd be pretty good at HR as well.
I'm a bit blunt sometimes. It's like it hasn't always worked out that well with people. And my sister comes from big companies like Unilever, and she was CEO of a big food company here in Holland. And I asked her, why don't you join us? You know how to run a company, and I know how to make products for sailing. So let's work together. And it's we're a good team. It's we've got different skill sets, and it's just like with my brother, we're complementary. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. You found some good talent there. But then when I look at your sort of pro sailors that are tied in with you, I can't help but notice you've got Kyle Langford. So the kicking boy of Barkarati, the man that we take the piss out of the most, the guy that we like to have fun with, and you've gone and joined him onto your team. You've got Tom Burton as well, so you've got a couple of Aussies there. But Langford.
Yeah, I got told off by getting too many moth sailors, so I'm not allowed to get any more moth sailors.
Okay.
But the only reason I got them on is because there was 1, 2, and 3 in the moth worlds, and I want to get a bit quicker.
Oh, absolutely. Are you looking for? Do you want to sail a Sharpie?
Nah.
Yeah, nah. How about a 505? We got our man Jay Funk over here, who's got a bit of pull with that mob. So,
if you can get me over to Australia, I'd be happy to do some 505.
I'll see you in about 2024.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I can. If we can get you into Australia, we can get you on a boat easy. I can ensure that. Or if you want to put a campaign together and go to the Worlds, I can probably organise a boat for you over in Bermuda if you want. So the class is pretty proactive about creating those opportunities. So, but you and your brother, although you're probably a little bit light, aren't you? What do you weigh?
Well, it's funny because I was. It's going to be really cold in the next 10 days in Holland here, and I was dusting off all my DN material, my ice yachting stuff.
Oh yes,
yes. And I realized that my I don't know how you call that in English.
Spandex.
The plank.
Yeah.
The plank. When I bought that, I was 10 kilos lighter and 3 kids without 3 kids. So now I'm 10 kilos on, so I need to quickly find myself a stiffer plank to go sailing again.
Can you just put a strip of carbon across it or something? Are they allowed to?
Yeah, but I still have a wooden one that was way too stiff for me when I bought the boat. So that's probably perfect for me now.
Okay.
Just watch you don't get a splinter up your ass after the Le Mans start when you slide on in.
Well, that's what I did the last time I sailed. I crashed with 100 k's an hour, and Sander van der Borg made some great pictures of that.
Yes.
Fantastic. It looks crazy, you know. As we were discussing before we went to air, we did that big discussion about ice boating 2 weeks ago, and it just looks so crazy for us. But you should have on the little Max there, because I assume you could put that on the ice boat, couldn't you?
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah. Could you have some sort of readout that just goes, holy shit?
Starts flashing red, like bail out.
Yeah, eject. We could actually. We are working on those kind of things, but for different purposes. And I was just thinking, shit, if I go ice yachting, my mind goes to kilometers an hour, and now everything's in knots. So
yeah.
You need to think about that.
Don't worry, it was only 50 knots where you wiped out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
But
it's cool because we've never measured the speeds in the ends, or I have never. I've always bragged that I was going 100 k's an hour, but actually I have no idea how fast I'm going.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. So you've got a real cold snap going on there.
Well, not yet, but from tomorrow on, it's going to snow 0.5 meter.
Wow.
So that's perfect to get the water cold, and then it will start freezing to -10, -11.
So all the canals are freezing?
Not yet, but they will.
But they will, yeah.
So because we were talking about that ice skating event you have around the canals there. They have it whenever the conditions are right with our mates from Thailand.
Elfstedentocht.
Huh? The what?
The Elfstedentocht. It's the 11 cities thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Our mates from Thailand were telling us about it when we're having a few beers once, and we thought that sounded pretty cool as well. You guys get to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, but didn't happen since 1997, I think.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
Well, believe it or not, our equivalent race in Australia hasn't happened for a while either.
How's your skiing going in Australia?
Yeah. I've gone barefoot.
Yeah.
Single ski.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, my wife and I have got into the snow sports in the last year or two. It's we quite enjoy it, but you can't really go now, you know, and it's not that great of snow here in Australia. So, and now we're sort of stuck in Australia for a while. So.
Are you not allowed to travel?
Not really, no.
Nah.
Well,
you can travel. It's just the issue of trying to get back.
Okay.
So if you come back in, or anyone trying to come into Oz, you've got to isolate in a hotel. So basically what happens is you land, you get on a bus, they take you to a hotel, which you've got to pay for. You go into your room. They don't give you your room card or key. You just go into your room and they close the door and you don't come out for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So because we've sort of got rid of it, you know, like everyone's living a normal life in Australia. So we occasionally get some leakage when one of the security guards sneaks in or does something stupid. Let's say it like that.
Go on.
And then
what's your theory, Jay? He was having a little sneak through the little look through the keyhole.
I'm not saying that. I'm the one that's got to be professional. I'm supposed
only
to...
with one eye.
Be aware of the pommies that they don't get in.
Yeah. So that's right. So we, the government said that we're not supposed to. There'll probably be no travel until at least 22. That being said, SailGP is coming up, and some of our guys, our team's about to head off. So we don't know how that's going to work logistically. We've got the Australian Open tennis has been here, and I think it caused a major for a lot of the tennis players, all their entourage coming in, and they all got locked up in hotels for 2 weeks, and they were not happy. But that's the way we do it. And New Zealand's the same, you know, and we've got, we've got normal life. We don't have COVID effectively. So,
I wish we would get that again. Our kids are at home. The world's pretty closed here. No shops, no bars, nothing.
Yeah, it is strange, but so yeah, in terms of being able to go and do that sort of stuff, we don't. So in terms of regattas and stuff, though, there are regattas now starting to happen in and around Australia. So, for us to talk about some sailing, we don't have a huge amount. But, like obviously we've got the America's Cup going on in New Zealand, and they're able to run that. And you've got spectators out, they're all out on the boat.
Yeah.
And none of them are at risk of catching COVID because nobody's got COVID in the mainstream. So, if you've got COVID, you're completely locked down. So no one that's outside has COVID. It's just the way it is.
Well, it helps to be on a bloody island, eh?
A long way away from everyone, that's right.
Well,
exactly.
You're in the Netherlands, mate. Helps to be underwater or not.
Well, that would help if you would just flood the country for a while.
Hey,
but speaking of the Cup, though,
let's do
Kalle,
that.
I assume you've been watching it pretty closely. What's
funny,
your feedback, mate?
I had a little baby in April this year, and he wakes up occasionally at night. But every time the Cup's on, so I'll go again. I'll go and take him downstairs. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
But my take on it is, it's surprising to see the Brits, how they've come back, because most people wrote them off.
Most people did, but just sorry to just diverge a little bit, Kalle, with my good friend here, Jordan. But I got a phone call from our mate Snowdy the other day, who said he was listening to last week's episode of Barkarati, and for whatever reason, when that finished, it went back to the episode when we were talking to Tyson Lamont.
Oh, okay.
And there was a lot of predictions during that show that have now come into force.
Okay.
Including the dominance of Ainsley, and for not writing them off out of what they were about to do, how bad they were going to be, and then the resources they have and the money they have. So
I know where you're going.
Which is So to see them, back to you, Kalle, to see them bounce back the way they have, with the calibre that they've got, led by Grant Simmer, it's going to be one of the best battles. This Louis Vuitton,
I agree.
Louis Vuitton Prada Cup is going to be one of the greatest battles I think we've seen in good time. And last week we spoke about it was too short for the semis, but now what we're getting into now, this is perfect over a few weekends. So good.
Yep.
I hope Prada and Ineos are well matched, but it could very well be that one of the two has found some speed edge, which will make it hard for the other one.
Yeah.
And we're
throwing the theory. Well, I'm particularly pushing the theory that the boats so far seem pretty good because if you win the start and you get the lead, they're quite hard to pass. Because one, the sailors are so good. So they don't really make mistakes.
You don't fuck up. Yep.
And two, the boats are reasonably even, and it's a pretty tight little course. So it's hard to sort of get that leverage to find some passing ground. So the interesting thing will be, we know that the Italian team is pretty solid on starting. I'm pretty comfortable with the Poms on their starting skills and a bit of match racing. Whoever goes through, I actually reckon they could be a little bit of a threat because no disrespect to the New Zealanders, and we're very good mates with the boys in that team. That's probably Pete's only weakness, isn't it? Like match racing starts. I mean, sure, he'll be up to speed within a month.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say starting. Just when you look at Jimmy and Ben's match racing pedigree compared to Pete's is obviously a lot more.
But
does that mean anything when you've got to be doing 34 knots across the sail line?
plus, I think I will say that the match racing program in New Zealand is insanely good, and and he would have been. There's no way he hasn't been practicing. So I think I was trying to throw a bit of false bait up there and see if people would respond to it because
I think in general the upwind starts make for a bigger difference at the start. That's one thing. The reaching starts of the last cup made it much more close.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Prada Cup first, I think Jimmy is a great match racer, but Ben is just one of the best sailors in the world. And Jimmy and Checo haven't been covering that well. When they took the lead, they haven't been really protecting that well. So I think if they have the speed, they need to make sure they protect because Ben is a sneaky.
Yep. One of the things I think they're doing is minimising manoeuvres. I reckon that's making a bit of distance. So they're making an estimation based on if we let them go, the risk is they're going to get about this much leverage, but we will hit the ley line if we stay here and we can reduce one more manoeuvre and we get to the favoured side. So I think the number of manoeuvres or tacks is actually affecting distance. So I think that is coming into play in the thoughts.
I think they've been practicing a lot on manoeuvres because I think in their debriefs they've probably discussed this a lot.
But there's still distance lost when you tackle, John.
My thought is the manoeuvres are covered. They know how every manoeuvre is done.
Sure.
And that is why American Magic went down when they're saying it's a risky manoeuvre. They knew that was a risky manoeuvre. So everyone knows
subject.
how to do stuff, right?
Yeah, but you missed
my take right now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Grant Simmer, Ben Ainsley have got some of the biggest balls in the fucking game, right?
I'm going to have to edit this whole episode. Stop swearing.
They are going to come out full guns blazing, or they have just made a error
and go up in flames.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
I really hope they can maintain the momentum that took them to where they are now. But who knows? But of course, the dark horse is the Italians. What have they got left in their bag?
I think they look quick. They've improved a lot since they last sailed against Ben. But Ben's had a lot of time to work on his boat, and he's got a whole Mercedes F1 behind him and whatnot. But in the end, I think Team New Zealand will win.
Yeah.
Well, we don't mind. We don't mind because for viewing for us, it comes right at lunchtime. So
yeah, but I'd rather go to Italy next time and watch the cup there. It's nice weather. England, not so
Lake
much.
Garda. Lake Garda, you reckon?
That'd be pretty cool, eh? Doesn't it need to be on
an ocean?
It can't be on an ocean. Yeah.
It's in the rule.
Not chasing it would be pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be unreal. All right. Well, what about Sail GP? Are you loving that? That's coming back. Are you fired up?
Yeah.
I'm fired up if it happens. That's like in Europe, I don't see it happening, to be honest.
No, I was wondering the same thing. I think it's a high risk manoeuvre. What about the Vendée? Did you get into that?
Yeah, I did follow it in the beginning, but I kind of lost interest along the way.
Right.
Actually,
the boats are not that quick. They're throttling them down quite a lot.
Yeah. So, good question.
Mm-hmm.
Foils, non-foils, do you even care?
Rudder elevators is the real answer, I think.
Here.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
They're just too fucking dangerous and they break.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're throwing a few ideas out here at the moment, so that's good. All right. Let's solve another one. What if you were running the ocean race?
Oh,
What would you do? What do you do? What would your fleet look like?
Then ask me.
to anybody can compete, just like the old days. Let's get Comanche in.
Wait, I should.
Let's get 100 footers in.
So we wrote up a plan. Nick Bice and I wrote up a plan for the race that actually had that element put back into it. So you would. What did we call it? We didn't call it Corinthian. We called it. There was the top teams, but we opened. There was a division open for all proper ocean races for exactly that. Let's get Comanche into the race, and they could do a bunch of legs. It was
certain legs.
Yeah, it was
basically
their own division, and if you timed the race right, you could pick up some of the major global ocean racing events, and then continue on. They could continue on and sail that. So we actually. You're on the same wavelength that we're on. We presented a plan to the CEOs, and it got bounced around quite a bit. But yeah, that was the whole element, because we figure that once the owners of these boats get hooked into the race rather than just their own program, then they suddenly come back in and actually put in a boat into the fleet.
The problem with the ocean race is getting the sponsors. So, and you got wealthy individuals that really like to sail big boats. So get them interested in the ocean race, because otherwise, just it's pretty remote. It's hard. It hasn't been. Yeah, and right now I'm worried about the ocean race for the next couple of years.
Well, the Dutch are such mad proponents of it. Like, your nation is massively into the event. So, you guys are as invested as any other country's ever been in the event. So, I'm intrigued. That's why
I must say, Jordan, it's like the Dutch are proponents for the ocean race as much as Australia are proponents for Vegemite. We're all owned by different nations that don't belong to us. So it all comes home. Right, but we still get behind our brands.
Yeah. In an ideal world, you'd have a one design class, but you have a one design class that you could build yourself. Just like the Volvo 70s were perfect.
Yeah.
But I think there was just not enough money to keep it running, So
the perfect ocean race would have been 2 years ago in a Volvo 65.
Yeah.
Which would have been 1 year after the event that we just had.
Yeah.
Scale it down a little bit. The boats would have made it, no problem. And now we're unfortunately in this position. So let's see what happens next.
We're all.
Yeah, and I think what do you think about the foiling 60s then?
Oh, I mean,
disaster.
I think that it could work. It could definitely work if there was. I mean, they're a bit small inside. And like you guys said, we proposed the elevator on the rudder. I mean, that becomes a whole different thing. But I think the 60s with a proper crew on, without the autopilots, that becomes pretty awesome. But we don't. There's not enough space.
I personally think that the Omoka boat
doesn't
compared to a Super 60 as what it was going to be prepped for a fully crewed boat. Well, fully crewed with 4 or 5 people, are two completely different boats.
Yeah. Oh well.
Which is unfortunate.
What about a foiling trimaran?
Now we're talking. The only issue is that money thing.
Well, we don't have to make it a big one.
But if you look at the Jules Verne right now, I think it sparks my imagination at least.
Yep.
It's so amazing to see those things go around and how quick they get to the equator.
Yeah,
and that's what people get their juices flowing.
Yeah.
Yes and no though. When you look at the Vendée, did you even care who was falling or not falling?
No.
wasn't the weakness that we weren't getting great footage off like we did with the ocean race? You know, like that ability to see ocean. If we saw footage,
I think if you look at the drone footage you get from the Jules Verne or whatever, that's what sparks the imagination.
Yeah,
it needs some content in order for it to. So the tracker alone is not enough.
So why don't all the race organisers just to get together and put camera stations all the way around the globe at each, every kilometre, all the way around?
That'd be interesting. Well, maybe once Starlink comes online, they can just have live streaming from all boats.
That's going to change everything, isn't it? Like when that happens, that changes everything, I reckon. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to follow that out.
So, well, on the back of all the just talking a bit of bullshit and a bit of fun, what's your next move, Kalle? What's Sailmon's next move, mate? What do you got up your sleeve?
I could tell you, but I have to kill you.
Please.
But it's all in this. It's all in this direction. We realize that it's a different world out there today. So we speed up some of our developments in order to make virtual racing a possibility. So people would still go out there and go sailing. And the other thing is to be able to organize races with less people, because that really is trouble. If we go sailing on a lake, I want to be able to organize a race and just go racing with my mates. I don't want to need a race committee to organize races. And I think with Max, we've got a lot of ideas what to do in the future. Wow. We've got some cool ideas for the big boats as well. We're really going to focus on the things we're good at. That's displays and data, and the way people enjoy that on the water and off the water. And there's plenty more ideas, but there's first a lot of work to do on the things we have today. And then the next step is augmented reality, but that's maybe a bridge too far.
Bridge too far at the moment. So, we are pretty much at the end of our time, but I do want to ask one question. What is your favourite boat to sail?
Depends what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm cruising with the family, it's probably something like a Hansa or something cruisy, or
Hansi 545. Yep, not bad. I like your choice.
If it's if I'm racing, I love them off. It's the most fun I can have racing.
Yeah.
And when I'm by myself, I don't know.
Have you ever sailed a Sharpie? Have you ever sailed a Sharpie, Kalle? Right.
You know what's fun? We have a class in Holland. It's called a Rainbow. And you sail with 3 guys, and it's a big class. And the most fun is the third race. The race at the bar.
Yeah,
that's fun as well.
It's a bit like Bar Karate Sailors Lager. The best beer is the third one.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, I reckon we've had a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Been good. Great to catch up again. And, Mets this year, or who knows? Who knows?
It's be a hard one again.
Yep.
Well, we as long as we don't have our vaccinations in order, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
That will be there. All right. Well, for those who are interested, Sailmon is Sailmon, and their webpage, sailmon.com. We do have a lot of listeners in Australia and New Zealand, and your distributor here is our mates at Ronston, I think. Is that correct?
Yep.
So if you want to chat to the boys at Ronston, they'll be able to hook you up if you want to find out anything more. And apart from that, we just look forward to catching up for a beer at some stage.
Yeah, big. Good to see you guys in real life again, and hopefully I can get to Australia to some better weather again in the winters to come.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, Carla's actually got one of our original Bar Karate shirts. You've got one of the first ones that we did. We didn't. The ones.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting it on today, but I decided on the Sailmon shirt anyway.
Fair enough.
Well, business, mate. Corporate. You got corporate stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep it running.
23%. Serious, 100% fun. What? 100% serious. 23. What? Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
All right. Cool. All right, mate.
I learned. All right, mate. Well,
No, go and finish off what you're going to say.
No, that's something I learned from the late Kevin Burnham. You know, he passed away in December, and I think I don't know if you talked about him in the show, but that was a character, and you know, he's one to miss. But he teach me never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
And I believe, and he always said it with the Heineken in his hand.
Oh yeah, but because I first met him and the stories were always amazing, you know, and then over the years I heard the same stories over and over again, and they only got better.
I love it. Cool. All right, bud.
Bit like John, but they get worse.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. All right.
Gully. Cheers, man.
See you, mate.
Ciao.
Well, as I said, going into that one, Bicey, a really impressive bloke. Always struck me as an impressive bloke, and just a really good conversation.
Yeah, bloody good. And like I spoke about when we first met him, when he came down to Lisbon, and his vision for what he was going to create was really excited me. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to implement that, and unfortunately the world's turned into a different world, different place in what we wanted to do, but that could have been bloody cool. But he's got something really interesting. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, moving on, for those who are fans of the Prada Cup, when we publish this, it'll be probably 5 days till the Prada Cup starts. So, again, so the 13th, best of 13. So the first of 7 wins out of Luna Rossa and Ineos, the American or the UK team, sorry. Whoops.
The American UK team.
So anyway, get fired up about that. For those on the Sunshine Coast, Malula Bay Yacht Club will be hosting.
So what do you got going on actually? On the weekends of the Cup,
on the Saturdays, I think it is.
Commentating or
no. We're basically just trying to bring more people in the sport, right? So the idea is that we'll open the club up from 11:30. Because it starts at 12 o'clock in our time in Queensland.
Yeah.
Open the bar up. I'll make sure I've got plenty of Barcarati Sailors Lager. And then the whole idea is that I'll put a whiteboard there and people throw out questions, right? Now, I'm going to be a facilitator. It's not all about me talking. What
commentary are you going to run with? New Zealand or Kenny? Kenny and Nath?
Oh, that's the one I would run with, Kenny and Nath. It's far better than the New Zealand one. As a commentator, when I listen, Kenny and Nath is really, really intuitive. Oh. He's providing really the information that's really interesting. The New Zealand one is just Blake shouting at the TV, like it's old-fashioned commentary technique. And Nath doing beautifully. Kenny's fantastic. I don't know.
I love the way Kenny, and again, I'll mention it, not necessarily dumbs it down, but he puts it into a perspective that everyone can understand.
Yeah, well.
So my mum can watch it when Kenny's commentating. She understands what's going on.
He loves doing it too.
We can get so complicated. And sailing can get so complicated. But the way that they do it, I think, is as good as it is going to get.
Yeah. I mean, you and I could do it better, but not much.
Well, I must admit, I've been watching Holy Moly. Yeah. The new thing on Channel 7.
You probably better explain that one to a few people, but that is funny. He's good, isn't he, that guy?
And my wife has said, well, first of all, I saw a Facebook post, and holy moly, for the American listeners, you know exactly what it is. But for everyone else, it's basically mini golf, cross, American Ninja, cross.
Bad stand-up comedy.
Yeah. but for me, it is pretty good.
It's very funny.
In saying that, so I saw this Facebook post from this mum of a kid who goes to my kid's school. Holy moly. All the women are wearing no clothing. All the men are beer drinking.
Bogans.
Fat bogans.
Yep.
But my kids love it.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Seriously, I watched it tonight and it was seriously there. And I was listening specifically to the commentary, thinking to myself, could Jordan and I do this?
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I was laughing at the Seppo guy, thinking to myself, yep, that's Jordan. That's a redheaded Jordan.
Well, that's funny. It's good fun. But anyway, so so the gist of the thing with Mooloolaba Yacht Club, it's just an information sharing. So somebody's going to have some expertise there. So if somebody wants to understand how the box, something about the racing.
Yeah.
And we'll break it down before and after and just let the commentary run and have beers and have a laugh. And it's just to get people into the club. And so it's just going out to everyone's sending it out to all their mates and people coming in. It's just an idea. And if you have a club and you want to bring people into the club, do that. There's so much interest. When I say to my mates who don't sail, this is what we're going to do, people are just, man, I'll be there for sure. So you just need someone to facilitate discussion, that's all, and work out the answers. It's not about one person dominating. That's not my goal. So, I think we're just going to have a bit of fun. All right, should we move on from that? But anyway, enjoy that. I can't wait.
All right, but before we move on, where's your money? Finally, where do you sit?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on the
I must admit, we've been accused via cheers@barkarati.com for sitting on the fence.
Fair enough. Well,
it is fair.
But nobody's actually sent in and put their tips into us. So
yeah, you're right, actually.
It's a pretty crowded fence.
Yeah.
So I don't know. As we've said many times, I want everyone to win. That's my problem. I literally care about people in every team. So I want everyone to win. I just, as far as I'm concerned, the best possible outcome, it goes to 13 races and it finishes with a 1 centimetre margin on that last race. And
then the boat blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That'll be unfortunate if you win.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear. All right, well, just quickly moving on. Just big congratulations to Clarice Kremer, who...
Oh.
Yep, go on.
How good was that?
Fantastic.
I think... and despite whatever position she came over the line, she has the ultimate round-the-world record, female round-the-world record for the Bondi.
That's it.
Who beats Ellen MacArthur, who previously had it.
Yep.
Who came in second when she did it, and that was, 20-plus years ago?
21 years ago, yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So Clarice finished 12th overall, did it in 87 days.
87 days.
2 hours, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas Ellen's record was 94 days, 4 hours in the 2000-2001 Bondi. Fantastic performance. Congratulations. It's and tough finish into the finish. The weather wasn't super kind, but nailed it. So yeah.
If anyone's going to beat you up, that's Bay Biscay.
Bay Biscay, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our first woman is home, and hopefully more and more will be doing the event. It's a good event. We've enjoyed it. I think most people have enjoyed it.
Going back though, just quickly, foils, non-foils.
Look, I'm of the view, and it was proved with the 65s, as long as the racing's close,
Yeah.
Everything's good. I love the 60s with the foils when we get footage of it. If we had footage of that all the way around, you know,
How hard did they really push it, you reckon, those guys in Southern Ocean?
I don't reckon.
With Alex not being there,
Right.
did they really push it or they were kind of holding back?
Well, I think it's tough. I reckon the event would be better having two people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because then suddenly the standard and the pressure comes up,
Yep.
the mistakes drop, and, you know, just sail that boat, drive that boat. I reckon it'd be a better event, but they're not going to do it. So, I mean, the French don't listen to us. They don't listen to us at all, we've discovered.
Are we?
What?
No.
No. Speaking of that event, though, our mate Ryan Brymeyer, he's announced he's going for the 24-25 event, and he's going to spend the next 9 months trying to raise funding. If he can raise funding, he's going to go for it. So we wish him all the best. I think we'll say quite clearly on that. Given the reaction we've had to his episode, people love hearing him talk. We've had so many positive responses.
There is certainly no doubt the biggest reaction we've ever had is
in terms of feedback.
Yeah, in terms of feedback, and I'm talking good feedback here.
Great feedback. Yeah.
Is thank God someone is just telling the truth or what they actually feel. So, well, one, to Ryan, we wish you the best of luck. Two, to everyone that listened and kind of got on Ryan's bandwagon, stay on it, because this guy's going to put a boat in the water and he's going to do all those things that everyone else doesn't listen to. and let's see.
Let's see indeed.
Yeah.
That was good on him. A couple of quick ones. A bloke by the name of Adam Lincoln sent a link through to us.
Yes.
The Australian Classic Dinghy Network. You must have wet your pants when you saw that.
Oh, there was a photo of a rainbow in the background. Yep.
So that's a Facebook page if you want to find out about that one. Australian Classic Dinghy Network. All these retro photos of dinghies from years back. And you know what I love? You love the rainbow, I love a scow moth.
Oh, mate, don't know. Well, of course the listener can't see, but I just had a bolt on it.
I think.
How good is the scow moth though?
Yeah.
Coming up, they've got 14 at the Nationals or something.
Yeah, they've got a big regatta coming up. Yeah, I think in March.
The scow moth, and this is one thing. Do I agree? Not agree? They're using a modern mylar sail.
I don't mind because it's probably cheaper for them. They just
just grab it off the other ones.
Yeah. I love them, especially when it's like 25, 30 knots and those things are just skipping across the top of the waves. They're just insane. They're very cool. Got a note from Croaky, not Nev Whitty, not Nev Whitty. Not
Neville Crichton.
Neville Crichton, thank you. But from Lake Macquarie, the Sydney 38 New South Wales State Championships, 6th to 7th March. They, as part of the Sydney Harbour Regatta, they need some publicity, they reckon, just to get some more funding for the event. And they reached out and I said, sure, no worries. So I'm just giving me a plug. So if you're interested, great boat, the Sydney 38, the One Design class.
Are they keen for a beer sponsor?
Keen for a beer? Actually, we should do that, yeah. I'll tell you who's on the boat. One of the sailors is Dean Blatchford is on there. A bunch of 50 guys are on these boats.
All right. We'll get some, I'll tell you what, 38s, we'll sling some beer your way. We'll become the official beer sponsor for the regatta. What club's it out of? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
All right. Anyway, we'll take care of that. So let us know. Cheers at barkarate.com.
We're actually
We'll make it happen.
We're the official beer sponsor. We're the actual overall sponsor for the VX1 Queensland State Champs 27th and 28th of February. just because we give them so much publicity, apparently. So that's good. So Baccarati, we're emerging. We're emerging. We don't make a cent from it, but we're still out there trying to make it. And remember, if you do get us in the club, like people like the beer, I can assure you the beer's good. But if we do end up making money at it, we're going to give a quarter of that profit back to sailing. That's our stated goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Team New Zealand, Sail GP, I mentioned that before. Team New Zealand announced their lineup. Did you see that at all?
I must admit, that's a negative from my side. What have they got? A few cyclists there?
Yeah. Pete and Blair made the team, which is good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Unusual.
Andy Maloney.
Yep.
Never heard of him.
Been there for a while.
Josh Jr. Never heard of him.
Been there for a while.
Yeah. Marcus Hansen. Louis Sinclair.
Yep.
And the two lasses that are fighting out for one spot is Liv McKay and Erica Dawson. So, because they're trying to bring a female crew on each of the boats with Sail GP this season, so which is cool. So good luck to that team. It'll be pretty formidable.
Mate, seriously, Sail GP, is it going to happen?
I don't see how it's going to happen. Well, I mean, we talk about this every 3 weeks with our
current restrictions.
No, with the World Yacht Rally, with our little program, because we've been trying to get something up called the World Yacht Rally for all the cruisers out there, and we do risk management discussions every few weeks about when we're going to launch it again, and we just don't think we're going to get it up this year. So it's a gutsy call from Sail GP. I hope it goes ahead if they can do it safely. And
did you see Russell Coots's photo on Facebook?
No.
Sail GP?
No.
Took a photo of the Team New Zealand boat.
Mm.
It's probably the blurriest photo I've ever seen. So I'm not sure if that was a strategy or not.
Love it. Etchel's letters. We got an amazing little letter. We'll probably, we'll leave that. We got some pretty amazing detail again through the week. We'll just hang on to that a little bit longer. Let BP come back for that because he'll fire off like a little firecracker. It'll be fun. But what you brought up last week, Bice, and the best off the beach dinghy.
Off the beach dinghy.
So we're obviously.
I've actually changed my mind.
Oh, what to?
Hobie Wave.
Hobie Wave. What I'm thinking is, we'll put it down and we'll do it in a couple of weeks. Just send us in your view. What do you reckon is the best off the beach dinghy? I reckon that'd be pretty cool.
It will be.
So the listener, just email us at cheers@barkarati.com. What is the best off the beach dinghy?
Or Messenger or whatever any of the socials.
Yeah.
And we'll just compile. But I must say, there's one which after mentioning it last week, and I've had a few comments, the FD is starting to get a few mentions.
It is an amazing vessel, the old FD. I reckon they're a particularly good boat for a skipper. Have you ever sailed one?
Oh, mate. Well, no. That's a negative, but I concur. It would be a good boat for a skipper, not for a crew. When you got to pull a Genoa on. Yeah.
I have been lucky enough to win a national champs in an FD, and pulling that bloody Genoa on just about. You just that last couple of inches, when it's 25 knots or something, and you've got everything raked right back, and then like the skipper reaches over. It's 3 hands. You need 3 hands. It's always there. But for the skipper, it's just so smooth. They're smooth boats. I remember actually when they got dropped from the Olympics, they tried to come back with. They created this skiff FD. I don't know if you ever heard, and they put wings on it like an 18.
Yeah, right.
And so it was an FD, more powered up FD, right?
Oh, just because you need something a bit more powered up.
Yeah. And they had the worlds. They had the worlds at Brighton Seacliff one year when they had it, and they brought it over with it in the container. And so me and Sandy Higgins were out blasting around on this thing and having a go. So, but I don't think...
Was it fast?
I don't think... The problem with the FD is it's smooth, right? You don't notice the speed. So that's one of the things, like an 18, it doesn't bounce around as much. It sort of feels like a truck out of control. But whereas some boats feel a lot faster. You're not going as fast, but they feel faster because they're so skiddy and sort of thing. Whereas an FD is just, it's like a train. It's on rails the whole time.
Yeah.
I think, but they're a great class. But I don't know. I'd be interested in other people to throw out other ideas. I think, there's still everyone else has still got it wrong so far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's certainly no doubt the Rainbow is, without doubt, the ultimate off-the-beach class.
I love your passion, mate. I love your passion. Oh, dear. Cool. What else? Anything else?
Well, I'm trying to think of something to take the piss out of BP with, but we might just leave it there, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. We'll pick on him next week. Just fire into him.
Love it.
All right. I think we'll leave it there, everyone.
All right.
Good to speak.
Cheers, mate.
See everyone.
Oh, here he is. BP. You made it. The credits.
Too bad, BP. You ran out of time.